And we're back. Hump day. We go again. Welcome back to Sideline podcast. Apologies we couldn't be with you yesterday evening, but here we are. We move. Sam, obviously, a lot to talk about, so we better get into it quickly. But how you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Bit of a depressing time to be an Arsenal fan, but let's move.
Yeah, I feel we'll save that till last because it'll probably get us in the way to leaving and heading off stream. But
Yeah,
let's talk about the big news, which has just recently come in. I mean, we've spoke about this almost every week, every episode, I think. But he's staying. Harry Kane, he's announced he's staying. What's your thoughts on this, mate? And then I'll sort of put my own in after.
I mean, I think he's only staying because he's been priced out. Let's be real. I think that he's put himself in a tricky predicament with the Spurs fans. Don't get me wrong, they're going to love him anyway. But I think that there'll be some of the faithful fans that will not forgive him for how he's acted. But, you know what I mean? Let's be real. Spurs haven't really got any other options for him. So, fair play. Like, I mean, let's be real. If I was Kane, I would have been pushing the same way to get out of there. So, but yeah. I just don't feel like in a COVID market anyone could really afford him. Let's be real. So
I think this is the thing, isn't it? It's not. I'm embarrassed for him, if anything, not Tottenham. I think the problem is it is out of teams' reach right now. And any other day, I think anyone would be putting up 150 million, 180 million for a player of his talent. You don't get many players like him around every so often. And I think it's going to show because I think he will leave come January. I believe that this is just temporarily. He said he's here for this summer. He hasn't actually stated, I'm here for the rest of the season. He's just said, I'm staying this summer. I feel like that's a big statement. And I think in January, City will put out. Obviously, Daniel Levy has sort of made a statement that he's here to stay. But there's only so much money you can keep rejecting. But it's quite amazing after all we've seen that he's sticking around because obviously he's disrespected the fans, the team, the coach, all the staff really. He's not turned up to training. He didn't show any support in the first win of the season. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on from here and what City do as well. Because obviously City have now got something to do. Do they sign a striker? Do they keep moving forward with playing a midfielder or a player out wide in the middle? How much can it work for him? You know, it's a big blow to City, in my opinion, because a lot of people thought once Kane goes to City, that's it. You know, that's game over. But now who knows? And who knows what happens with Tottenham? How's he going to find his feet again? It's going to be, I'd say it's got to be an unbalanced dressing room somewhere along the line because there's going to be some people disappointed by it. And, you know, seeing his actions, they'll probably change their mind about him. But who knows? See G's in the chat. G, thank you for tuning in. As always, I feel like the way he said this summer, Hinstead maybe agreed one more year, then he can go next. Yeah, I feel like there's been a discussion behind, closed doors where him and Levy have said, like, right, I'll stay by for now. I'll keep you a few places up the table, and then I'm gone in January. Yeah. You know, I'll do what I can do until then. But let's move on. So much to talk about, mate. What I think we'll do is quickly go through the games of the weekend, and then I know we're going to have a little discussion on Arsenal because there's so much to talk about on our own side. I'm not going to slander Tottenham too much because we've got too many problems of our own. But start with Liverpool, Burnley 2-0, another win, another clean sheet. Good to see from Liverpool. Do you think they're back in a race now? Obviously, they're getting to a position now where they've got the players involved. They've got Konate that's come in. They've got Van Dijk back fit. What do you think from them this season? Obviously, they've got a big game at the weekend with Chelsea, which can be massive. What do you think this season? Do you think that now that they've got a fully strength side, they've got rid of some Deadwood and Shaqiri, that they can sort of go at it again and be contenders?
I don't think you can ever rule them out. Let's be real. I mean, if you don't factor in the injuries they have and stuff like that, they're still a quality side. You know, we've got experienced players there. The likes of having Van Dijk back, you can tell how much that they missed him last year. I think, I don't know if they have enough depth. That's the only thing I question with Liverpool, you know, and let's be real, they're never going to be troubled by a Burnley side. You know, they've got enough grit and workhorses in their own team to not have to worry about that and equality around the rest of the team. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. If they keep, you know, getting points on, say if next week they beat Chelsea, because I remember a lot of Chelsea fans saying the game against us at the weekend wasn't the real test. The next test is to come against their Chelseas, you know, the Cities and everything like that. Then let's see. But I think you can't write them off. Top 4 contender for sure. But I don't see him picking anyone to win it.
Yeah, it's a good comment what you mentioned on the depth as well, because obviously last season we saw injuries come in, and it was a shambles. They haven't really signed anyone in terms of like, especially up top. They've got rid of players and they still could. But yeah, I don't know if Kanate is enough because if they get one injury or so up top, they could be in trouble. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But there's still 6 days left, so we can't rule them out. They've been linked with Saul Niguez, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Atletico, good midfielder. So who knows? But let's move on. Obviously, Villa Newcastle. I've only got one thing to mention in this game, and it's the goal from Danny Ings. Incredible, wasn't it?
He just seems to pop up, doesn't he, with like some of them every now and then. It makes me, it kills me because we could have done with a flipping striker like that. Just put in a bid, but I can't believe we weren't in the race for him. I think he gets a bit of unfair criticism because he's a goal machine, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of, we were just touching on Harry Kane. I think he was the obvious choice for a Kane replacement. I know that's looking ridiculous, but he was. Like, he's the only real guy right now that Spurs can probably convince to come in and do not as great as good, but who else out there is there, especially English at the moment, that scores goals like he does? And yeah, this was phenomenal. Brilliant finish. It was Lee said, didn't he? Off air, Lee said how it was like the Benteke goal. Of course, he brings that up, but it was very similar. This game, the only thing I have to say about it is that it's a scoreline that I would expect.
Yeah.
It's got 0-0 written all over it. Palace, I think Vieira's got a good job in his hands, and Brentford, I think they'll take that result. To be honest, they're newly. I know they got a win against us, but they're newly in the Premier League. They're adapting to the new sort of play.
Yeah,
Palace away. They'll take a point, I think. But yeah, good luck to Patrick Vieira. I think he's got a lot of work to do there. This game was. I'll tell you what, Danny actually predicted it perfectly, and I knew there would be goals. I didn't think it would be a draw. I knew there'd be goals because Leeds are that sort of side. They're back and forth. They've got Bamford who leaps and bounds, and Everton as well. Calvert-Lewin can do the exact same job. Good finish from Rafinha. But do you think there's any business for Everton to be doing this window? Because obviously 10th last season, Ancelotti didn't work out with him as much. Now they've got Rafa up there.
Yeah.
Do you think they sort of need anything adding to that team? Because they managed to keep hold of a lot of players that I expected to go with him, to be honest.
They've kept hold of a lot of players, haven't they? Let's be real. I think that, again, like mention it on Liverpool and stuff like that. I know they're completely miles apart, don't get me wrong, in terms of quality. Question the depth, especially, I know it's a touchy subject, losing Gylfi with whatever the fuck's going on there. They need some creativity, don't they? They definitely need the likes of Rodriguez or something like that to just come with a spark. So it depends, if they're serious about Rafa, then why not back him and see what they can do?
Yeah. I think I'm still not convinced that Rafa Benitez is a man right now for an Everton job because they had so much big expectations with Carlo Ancelotti, and I feel like they're back to square one. That's my only issue. And to be honest, they've got a good squad as well. So if anything, top 6, top 8 maybe is where they want to be aiming for. But Leeds away, Leeds have got their fans back. This is a good result for them.
Yeah.
But Watford started off strong, and now they're back to a loss. Basuma was incredible in this game, and I feel like we really missed out on him. I said this at the beginning of the season and last season that Basuma was maybe one that got away. A lot of teams probably could have done with him. And I don't think he'd mind a rotation player in the bigger squad. He's at Brighton. Obviously, there you're a bigger fish, but I don't get how anyone, and his price is only going to get higher. What do you make of Basuma?
I think he's a class act. I can't remember his age at the top of my head, but I don't think he's very old, is he?
No, I'm pretty sure he's 24.
Yeah, 24.
Because I was looking into it a couple of while back. But yeah, like you say, he's still young,
He's definitely got someone coming in for him, let's be real. Probably.
There's always January.
Yeah, exactly. True, man. Again, I think I like Brighton as much as, they've caused us a lot of shit over the years and stuff like that. They're one of those teams, aren't they? You just don't know what you're going to get. I think they've got a good manager. Watford again, I mean, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, wasn't it? Because they really done well in the first game, and then maybe it was sort of like, back to reality. But
welcome to the
I don't think this is anything for them to really beat themselves up about, because Brighton are like hot and cold. One day they can be amazing, and they were amazing in this game. They were dominant. I thought they played well, kept the win, kept their performance and possession quite comfortably. But yeah, I don't think Watford will be sweating. City 5-0. We'll go on to this next. I think it's just not surprising. You know, they needed this sort of game, I reckon, because they were two defeats in a row. They needed a game like this to sort of start getting back into winning ways, make players feel comfortable. Grealish, of course, he got his first goal. Maybe not the best of first goals in the world. You know, it wasn't a convincing. I'm not even sure if he meant it. I don't think he expected the ball to come to him. But what was your thoughts on City's performance? And do you think Grealish actually does fit into this side? Because there's been a lot of debate on how much they actually needed it, which I don't understand how you can have a debate about that. You know, he's a 100 million player. He gets in the side, of course, every day of the week. You don't spend that unless you're going to use him. But what do you make of him settling into the team and the performance overall?
I mean, I think he's a class player. Let's be real. Everyone knows what he can offer. He's versatile. He can play in many positions. It's just literally City and Guardiola finding where they're going to play him and where they're going to pop him up. Do you know what I mean? They could probably. There's talk of them saying that, you know, when they were playing without a striker, that he could do that job and everything like that. I mean, I don't think he's got that in his locker, I must admit. But
no, definitely not. I feel like he's a player for either out wide or behind the striker. I think if you try and put him in that sort of position, you're going to ruin the bloke. Exactly. Because he's not going to perform there. You know, I think he excels and he shines doing what he does best, which is providing the forwards. I feel like if you try and do what they've done with Sterling, obviously with Sterling, we're seeing him in the middle quite a lot. Okay, it can work out, but with him, no. I think if he's going to be your bread and butter, you need to play him in his best areas.
Natural,
you're better off just playing it safe. An unconvincing win for Tottenham against Wolves. Dele Alli scoring a penalty. Kane coming back into the team, who we've just touched on. Maybe that was the statement there when he came back in, that, you know, he's going to stick around. Because if he's going to be sold, I suppose you try and keep him out of the limelight. But what do you make of Tottenham now as a threat towards? Because obviously we've got them coming up actually the end of next month.
Yeah.
Do you think Kane now staying there is a big threat, or do you think there's a case of the fact that, you know, because there's people like Son, he plays up top, right? And I think he does a great job.
Yeah.
And I've always said I'm more threatened by Son than I am Harry Kane. Yeah, but to me, it always depends on the day, doesn't it, as well? Because you don't know someone can outshine. There's talks of Traore going to him. I don't understand that one bit, because they've got enough wingers. They've got rid of Lamela. Okay, fair enough. But they've got such quality in that midfield. They haven't shifted much, considering we're only 6 days away, right? 6 days isn't long. Once we get to the end of this weekend, you've got 24 hours to get some wheels in motion.
Yeah.
Do you think Traore could work in this Tottenham side?
No. I think one of your co-hosts on the Rivalry side, Luke, he had a great analogy for him. Didn't he say he was like a wheelchair strapped to a race car or something like that, I believe is what he said. And it's just perfectly summed him up. You know, the geezer's the quickest man alive, and then he's got nothing else to show, is he, really? It reminds me of, do you remember like Walcott back in the day and stuff like that? He used to be really quick. He had a little bit of class about him every now and then, but he done fuck all. I just don't see why they would need to buy him. The likes of Bergwijn and stuff like that. You've got all them. Yeah. They've got so many wingers.
He's starting to look good again as well, isn't he, Bergwijn? Like, he's got a bit about him. He's got the zig. He's got the zag. I think he'll. If they keep playing him, I think Bergwijn could be a real talent. When they first signed him, I've always said I like the look at him.
Yeah, he's a class act, man.
This is just competition for him if Traore comes in, really.
And for the money though, they're stating for that though. I don't think that's worth it.
This is another thing. It's the price they're spending on a rotation player. I get they've got Conference League. And I get they've got, you know, the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. They've got a lot to work with. So you do need depth. But Traore is going to realistically want to be at the top of the pile. So we'll see what happens. Southampton won, United won. Great result for Southampton. I thought they played well. I think United were, again, lucky to win this, really. Greenwood shining. He's going to be a bit of a problem this season for Rashford and Martial, isn't he? Because obviously, Martial, I know we've discussed this, I think, plenty of times. He's pretty much been a bit of a failure in terms of the acquisition a few years ago. He's never really had that season which he needed. Rashford's out, which is probably the only reason he's getting in the squad now. But do you think Greenwood's going to perhaps be not just a contender, but a first choice now as he keeps going? Because 2 goals out of 2, it's a good start, isn't it?
I don't see how they can drop him. Let's be real. I mean, I think it's probably about time that the rest of us all put a little bit of respect on his name. There's obviously a player there. We know he was playing his trade in the Europa League and the Cup competitions a couple of seasons ago for him. And yeah, no, I like the look of him. I mean, it's only good for England going forward, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the thing as well. I like it because he's an English player, so I can just enjoy it even more. People that are tuned in, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. We're just trying to get through these games, and then we're going to have a little bit of a discussion on, and now I would say beloved Arsenal, but at the moment it's pretty
just
hard
Arsenal
to say.
At the moment.
It is pretty hard to say that, isn't it? Let's move on to the magic of Antonio. I want to gather your thoughts on the game itself, and then just him, because I'm always impressed. I feel like he is literally FPL saint. He is one to have, and I missed out on it a bit stupidly. But we all know how bad my season's going in FPL at the moment. But yeah, what did you make of West Ham in this performance?
West Ham, I mean, I think they were fortunate with the red card, because I think Leicester were trying to get a foothold there, and and there was probably a bit of momentum that was swinging to West Ham after that. I mean, but again, you've got to put respect on what they're doing. They're getting the results. Antonio looks like he's fired up than ever. He got was it his 50th goal for the club or something, I believe?
Yeah, he's all-time scorer now. All-time scorer.
All-time scorer for that. And they've had some players there at the Hammers. So I like what they're doing there. I mean, I think David Moyes deserves a bit more respect. Let's be real, he was slagged off from a lot of the West Ham fans and rival fans as well. But whatever he's doing, it's working. Keeping Antonio fit will be the next thing, though, because I think if they lose him, again, they're going to be in a bit of trouble. But yeah, touch on that red card. I don't know what you think about it. I think it was a bit harsh, but
we spoke about this in the Rivalry Aside chat, right? And there was obviously, because we're with there's a West Ham fan, there's a Leicester fan. There was a lot of debate. I feel like there's enough contact there for it to be a sending off. And if I'm going to base it off what else I've seen a red card being given for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a red card. But then do I really want to keep going back to other situations and saying, oh, well, that was a red card, so this was? Because the game does need to improve in terms of the refereeing and the decision-making. But yeah, for me, I think it was the right decision. I'm only going to say that based on the fact that I've seen far worse given. It was an ankle breaker when you look at it. If you look at it real close, you can see that it was an ankle breaker.
I feel like he's unlucky though, in the sense of, because I think there might have potentially been a foul just before he makes the contact, which caused him to cause for the stretch. Again, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've seen worse not given. So I think
it's like Sam said here. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. West Ham squad is thin, considering they have Europe this season. Your thoughts? Very true. Like we just mentioned, Antonio, as much as he's a great player, as soon as he gets injured, they got rid of Sebastian Haller. They probably should have replaced him there and then.
Haller.
Yeah, there we go. There had to be one, didn't there? Had to be one. But yeah, I feel like they need another striker in there, because they've got a lot of good midfielders like Pablo Fornals. He was good. Jarrod Bowen, class performance from him. And
can I pick your brain quickly? Do they still have Andy Carroll?
No.
They don't, no?
I don't believe he's still there, no, because I've not seen him. I always look at squads, and I've not seen him in the squad at all, unless he's injured. Here we go. Let's find out. Let's get the.
I don't know where he is. I don't know if he was on loan from Newcastle, to Newcastle. Sorry, a couple of last season, maybe the year before.
Free agent at the moment. So there's your answer.
There you go. Fair play. He'll probably be getting a call up from Moyes.
He'll probably go back. Andy Carroll. Yeah. Andy Carroll, come back. Oh my God, that would be the day, wouldn't it? But yeah. Cracking performance from West Ham and Antonio. We'll touch on this now, and then we'll sort of go into more depth of Arsenal. Get rid of Antonio. We haven't got him on. We could probably use him at the moment. Definitely the strength. What was your thoughts on Sunday? I was fortunately traveling, so I had to sort of watch it late, and I was in and out of it on my phone. But I got to admit, what I saw wasn't great, and then I watched it for full on the Monday afternoon. But what did you take off this performance from Chelsea?
Chelsea were, unfortunately, in about fifth gear. They didn't even have to go up the levels at all, which is frustrating as an Arsenal fan. Give credit where credit's due. Lukaku looks like a more rounded and improved player than he was when he was last in the Premier League. I feel like, don't get me wrong, now I've said that, he probably should be for the price tag they paid for him. But again, I think we just crumbled again. Defensively, shambolic. Not enough grit, not enough
Do you think
fight.
it was? Do you think it was a case that Pablo Mari made? I mean, I've made my comments of Pablo Mari. I don't know what side he gets in. Definitely not another Premier League side for me.
Yeah.
No way.
hmm
I think he's Middlesbrough at best, maybe Swansea. But do you think it was a case of that he had an easy first game in a Chelsea shirt, or do you think he is that much of a threat this season? Because Man United got rid of him, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of people saying they can't wait for that return to Old Trafford. You know, they'll eat humble pie, they'll swallow their words.
Mm.
What do you make of Lukaku? Do you think he is like he has got it in his locker to sort of be that player he was in Inter Milan? Because it's different kettle, isn't it?
It's different kettle, but again, I think this league suits him. He knows the league well. He's a massive unit, isn't he? Let's be real. So people can slag him off all he wants, but again, you can't ask more for him. You know, debut, first goal for the club as well, which I never realised he didn't score for them the last time he was there. And I think he's going to be in a lot of fantasy leagues this year. He's probably my tip to probably be up there for the Golden Boot. To be fair, as long as he gets a run of games, which he will, because he hasn't really got any injury records, has he, Lukaku? That's the thing that people seem to forget.
This is the thing. He manages to stay fit, and I think that's another factor in him. In that the money would be well spent because he's not really injury prone. And what he does as well, you'd expect him to be. He holds the ball quite well and he's quite strong, so you'd expect there to be a tackle here or there. But I agree. I think Golden Boot is. He'd be I wouldn't be surprised if in the bookies he's the most favourite. What did you make of obviously Bakary? There was words made that the DNA has gone from the club. What did you think of that? It's quite a diverse discussion over the social medias, but do you think it is a case of that the DNA has left the club?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, and that was from Bakary Sagna, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's horrible to be so negative about it, but if we weren't being negative towards Arsenal, we won't be real about it, will we? There's a massive problem there. I feel like, again, he's made a lot of errors, Mikel Arteta, this already in his tenure at the club, and I feel like the players should be taking some responsibility, but unfortunately, when you're looking on the sideline and you're seeing a man deflated as that half the time, then there's nothing else to do. I think he's a wounded animal, and then what do you do with a wounded animal? You put him down. So it's probably time for him to go, in the sense of otherwise, because we're only going to get worse and worse. It's a shame. I bought into the trust the process, the philosophy. I bought into, his passion and his PR. And again, I will hold my hands up and say I'm one of these fans who got it wrong. I feel like we're going backwards. We should be progressing. He's a young, exciting manager, but we're regressing, and it's just, I don't know about you, mate, but I'm getting angry thinking about it and speaking about it.
It is hard to digest, isn't it? Like, it's not one of those easy conversations, really, because we're back to square one. Like, obviously, since Wenger left, we've been falling down a very deep hole ever since he left the team. And I feel like it's just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's the problem at the moment, is that we don't know what's next. There's talks of Conte coming in. I don't know how much I have confidence in that, because I don't feel like he's in a position where he can risk his reputation, because he's got a good reputation. Let's be honest. Okay, in the end, Chelsea got rid of him, but it's not exactly common. It's not a shock to see a manager sacked by Chelsea. They've got quite high standards. Do you think he would come to Arsenal? Like, that's the first question. Would he even want to come to this club? Because there's a lot of work that needs doing.
I don't see why he would come to us. I don't feel like we're an attractive proposition, even before what this whatever fuck is going on in this season and towards the end of the last season. I feel why would a manager come to us like Conte? He's going to demand the respect. He's going to demand the money. He's going to demand so many things that the ownerships aren't going to give him at Arsenal. I'm never questioning the ability of Conte at all. I think he's the top class manager. He's won pretty much every prestigious thing he has gone to for clubs. He tends to fall out of a lot of players, but again, that's what Mikel Arteta is doing. So I like the tactical aspect of Conte. I like his man management, but I don't think he will be right for Arsenal in terms of we're a nice club, aren't we? We're run properly.
I think my problem with it as well is that he's not really a long-term fix. I can only believe that there's 2 or 3 seasons that he can come in and do something. Is that long enough to get us back to where we want to be? I'm not so sure. And then after him, what happens? We're back to square one again. Who comes in after that? And like Sam said, it's men versus boys last week. It's not, and next week it'll be men. The men will be, it's a bit of a. I feel like we're a lost cause at the moment. I feel like we're a sinking ship, and it's only going to get worse and worse. And there's only so much you can drown. How much worse can it actually get? Like, we did play well against more difficult, being better than how they performed against Brentford. Yeah, but is that the expectation we should have? Playing better than what we were before? We should just be playing well. I feel like that's the problem. We're not actually playing good at the moment. We're just improving.
We're just slowly going through the games. I think a lot of people were happy that it was only 2, and that just shows exactly where we're at.
Yeah. Sam's also said, Arteta shall deliver. He should be able to extract the best out of his signings than a replacement who will have to make do with.
I'd like to know who Sam supports.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Arsenal, because I think he used the term "we" a while back, but maybe not. Sam, let us know in the comments who you're backing, mate. Who you support, and if it's not Arsenal, fair play to you. You've got some good ideas there and good sort of a good insight. I reckon, though, the thing is as well, I'm going to just say this as well. I feel like at the moment, Arteta and the Arsenal team, right? They're doing something together. They're rebuilding and they're building together. The thing is with Conte, he'll come in, he'll have his shit together. He knows he's a good enough manager, but the team he'd be working with, and apparently there was a statement earlier I saw on Twitter. It was that Conte has said he doesn't think he has enough of a good side to compete at the level he wants to compete, which is
fair.
Facts. I'm not sure how, legit that was, but that's complete facts. He's in a position where he needs a team ready then. Like, he's just managed bloody Inter, for God's sake.
Exactly.
How can you go from that to, why go for burgers when you've had steak? How can you go from that to Arsenal?
He probably, like you say.
At least with Arteta, he's learning while this team learns.
Yeah, but how much more can you take in that aspect of, okay, fair enough. You can't just keep saying that he's learning his trade and this Arsenal team's learning with him. At the end of the day, facts are facts. Arteta is the most inexperienced manager we've ever had, and we're going through probably the roughest patch that we've ever been through as an Arsenal fan. So again, if they don't act, like I said, and I keep repeating myself, then we are really, really going to struggle to attract anybody in the long-term future, because the process of this rebuilding period is just going to continue and continue and continue. Like you said, we've talked about it before. But I can reel off things at the top of my head. The 130 odd million that we spent is just on squad players, bar Ben White.
Yeah.
That's not instantly improving us. Lokonga looks like a good signing.
The window's been a shambles, let's be honest. Yeah. I think the only thing I'm excited to see now is departures that are coming in play. Willian looks like he's terminated his contract, seems quite official. That's really good news. Probably the best news of the summer so far.
Yeah.
Kolasinac looks like he's on his way out. Inevitable. As soon as Tavares come in, we haven't got room for him anymore. And to be honest, we don't need room for him anyway. And then obviously the likes of Nketiah, which we've been needing to get rid of for a long time. I feel like he's had his chances now. If there's room for Balogun to come in, who we can see there in the picture, if there's room for him, one of them needs to go. There isn't room for the 2 of them, especially with no European football. While G's just touched on it tonight, what's your thoughts on the Carabao Cup round 2? Never really been here. I mean, I can't think of a time in my generation when we've played in the round 2. I imagine we haven't, because usually we're in Europa League or some sort of European football, and in that case, you don't go into those rounds. But obviously, it's a massive game, not just based on the fact that we need a win, but we need goals. We actually want to see goals. We haven't even seen a goal in the entire season so far. But do you think we should play maybe a more strengthened side than usual tonight, or do you think we don't need to go all guns blazing?
I think you got to go for it. I think you've got to field the strongest squad that you can, the best 11. I think there's unfortunately, there's a couple of players there that haven't done themselves justice over the last couple of games, but you probably just got to keep it at it, keep the momentum going. I think I'd like to see Lacazette and Aubameyang back. I don't know where they're both at with fitness and obviously the COVID situation, but again, I don't want to see Balogun starting. As much as he's a young lad, I'm not going to be harsh on him. I think it's too much too soon. Let's just bring him
not with Aubameyang and Lacazette
Exactly.
No chance. Not with them two available. You don't. And I think he's been given enough of a chance now as well. That's the problem. He's been given a game, like a game or two. He'll have games again where he can be given a game, come on from the bench, etc. But we're in a position now where we need the best we can get. And with the availability we've got, obviously Odegaard's coming in.
I'd like to see him tonight.
I think he probably will start tonight because the only reason he wasn't was because of the visa. He looks like he's been training. So I'd like to see him behind. Give Smith Rowe a bit of a break, maybe. And he's a good option from the bench, to be honest. So we've got enough options tonight to leave those sort of players out. Even Gabby, if Gabby plays, fair play. But I'd like to see, I wouldn't mind seeing Aubameyang, Pepe, and Lacazette all starting because it sounds horrible, but we really do need to win this.
We've got no choices.
We've got no choice, have we?
Do you think though Arteta will look at it like us and look at it and notice what's going on around him and be like, fucking hell, I'm under pressure. I've got to put these boys all on the same time.
But the talk is 5 games, isn't it? Apparently he's got 5 games left to save his job, right? So you look at that. We've got tonight. I'm guessing if they're one of them, unless it's just Premier League games, West Brom, Derby. At the moment, usually I would say, okay, that's a given. But right now, I'm not so sure. Just because we're coming off a two very bad performances.
Yeah.
And then we've got City away, not convincing really. Norwich next week is probably the one game where I'd say, okay, you know what, they're playing worse than any other team. That's a game where we need to get the ball rolling again. We need to get a few goals. 3-4-0, something like that. Aubameyang, hopefully that's a good game for him to come back and shine. And then we've got after that, I'm pretty sure it's Tottenham, and I can't remember the other game. I'm pretty sure it's Brighton, actually. I'm sure it's Brighton.
Not too sure.
Yeah, it's Brighton away. 2 very, very difficult fixtures. So we've just touched on Brighton, how good they can be. So if it is 5 games, he needs to make the most of this.
But do you think if it is? So I don't know where you stand with it because I want him gone, and that's just not. And I was saying that towards the end of last season. That's not just because of this season. So I'm not just jumping on the hype train. But if they're looking at it like that now, saying okay, 5 games, then why not just sack him?
Yeah, maybe giving people a chance. But if he's in that sort of mud, if he is really like being thrown under the bus, you say, look, you've got to win your next game, and that's it, or you're gone. Yeah. I don't want to see this 5 games bollocks because we don't know how many of those 5 games he needs to win or anything like that. Obviously, it hasn't really been. They'll never come out and confirm that publicly. The club will never do. But I'd like to know if it is 5 games, what is expected out of him because he's not got the easiest. Georgina says, G says Burnley. See, even now, I wouldn't even put money on us against them.
We just get bullied.
Sam said here about the transfer market to buy overhyped, overpriced players with no performance guarantee, little to no resale value. Okay, like charity buying. Ben White, I definitely agree. We're not going to get more than 50 mil for Ben White. I think we've overpriced there.
Yeah.
Lokonga, I don't think we spent too much of him, and he looks better than what I expected. So I'll take him. Tavares, he's young. He looks all right, doesn't he? So I think I'll take what I could from him at the moment. It's a bit hard, really, to look at Tavares because he hasn't been playing as much as Lokonga at the moment. He's been coming off the bench. He looked good off the bench on Sunday. I'll give him that. I'll give Tavares that. He did look good when he came on.
He looks like a big, strong
I think
lad,
Ben White's probably the only money that's been badly spent for me. I like the players that he's brought in, and we did need those sort of players as well. But if you're going to bring in Lokonga, get rid of El Neni. I feel like there's other business to be done as well. If you're going to do one, do the other. Do you get what I mean?
But it doesn't look like there's going to be any more, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the right. I feel like it's too little, too late. We're in the right direction with those we've spoke about, Kolasinac and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's only so much we can do now. We're not going to have enough time. I know some don't run this competition, but City are happy to win it. That's the winning mentality. And also it gets in the Conference League. And at the moment, I don't know if 7th position is realistic for an Arsenal squad. Yeah. So we need to go for it as much as we can. We'll take any football we can get at the moment. We'll take any trophy we can get. Just before we start slowly wrapping up, just starting to see everyone blaming against Arteta. Let the City fixture get over. I still believe we should be in the top 8 this season. Look at where we've come to. Top 8.
I know. I mean, I don't want to. It's nice to see an optimistic Arsenal fan by the looks of it, Sam. And I'm not slagging you off or anything like that at all. But I just feel like it's very hard to find a optimistic Arsenal fan at the moment or a happy Arsenal fan with what they're seeing on the pitch. Fair play to you. That's your opinion.
100% completely agree with that. It's good to see some positivity, but I'd like to say I'm confident tonight. We'll see what the lineup is like. We'll see what sort of crack he goes for. Obviously, I believe the same as you. I think he needs to go strong. It's now or never for the way I'm seeing it. Big game against City at the weekend. And we'll talk about Liverpool-Chelsea as well. 2 big games, big weekend lined up. What's your predictions on them both, mate? Obviously, the rest of the hosts aren't here. For those of you that don't know, we'll be doing predictions each week. And the plan is those with the least points, we'll do a forfeit at the end of the month. So we'll be putting out on our Twitter, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, anyone that wants to comment in a forfeit that we could do. And at the moment, it's looking like you, Sam, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah. I've got to pull it out of the bag this week, haven't I?
So it's 3 points for correct score and result. And if you get the correct result, so if the right team win, then you get 1 point. But yeah, it's the last of the weekend of the month. So I'll get your predictions for those two because they're the big fish at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. I feel bad constantly going against us. But again, let's be real. I think you'd find it very hard to find an Arsenal fan that believes that we can actually get something out of that and get City game. So with City, Arsenal, I would say 4-0 to City. I feel like mate, I think they're going to blow us away. I really do. They're starting to find their feet now.
I hope we can get it. I think tonight is a massive. I know West Brom and Man City is a different piece of the pie, but I'd like to see if we get a goal tonight, we can maybe start getting in the scoring habit again. I'm going to say, so you said 4-0, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna have a little bit more faith. I mean, it's not that much more faith.
Still lost, isn't it?
And then Liverpool, Chelsea. This should be a good test for Chelsea, shouldn't it? Liverpool away. Liverpool got their fans back. We all know what Anfield is like, rocking when they're at home. Do you think Chelsea can come out with a result from this?
I feel like Chelsea are being written off against Liverpool already, and I feel like that's a dangerous thing to do with this Chelsea side. So I'm personally going to go for a Chelsea win. I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. I don't know about yourself.
I'm going to go 1-0.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
quite safe.
I don't know. I don't think Liverpool can afford to lose to Chelsea at home. I really don't.
We've got one more fixture, and we're going to have to.
Yeah, so
we can always do that another time.
I was looking at them and I saw Wolves Man United, which is on the Sunday, because I feel like that's the one that could be like Leeds Everton, goals galore. But then on the other end, it could not be. It's a very hard one. But and then what we'll do, we'll get the results from Lee and Danny, and then upload them to the socials. And then
this is the last week.
Yeah, this is the last week. It's mad, isn't it? It's gone quick. I mean, there's only 3 game weeks.
Yeah, to be fair, that has gone quick. So
Wolves United, I'll go 1-0 United.
You are?
Yeah.
So we're going with the United one, yeah?
Yeah, we'll go. I think the rest of, I'm just looking at the rest of the games now, and they're not very appetizing.
Yeah, okay. So you're gonna go United, so I'm gonna have to pull one out of the bag. So I'm gonna go 1-0 Wolves.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm bottom anyway, so it's not really like whatever.
Yeah, can't get any worse than that, can it? But yeah, we've also got a giveaway on the go. So those of you that haven't seen our socials, at the moment, West Ham are top of the table, so they're leading in the race, and not a single entry had West Ham in the top 4. So if things stay the same, and they've got Palace at home this weekend, so yeah, I'm going to guess they're going to be somewhere in the top 4. It'll roll over. So we'll go into a new month, and then you'll have to predict the top 4 for the end of September. If you didn't enter before, that's all you got to do. Subscribe to this channel and predict the top 4 by the end of the month. You'll get a chance to enter again if you entered before, and new entries will get to come in as well. But yeah, if things do change, the winner will get announced on the roundup next week. Who knows? West Ham could lose and some of you could be correct. But right now, it's looking very, very slim, especially the form that West Ham are in. Sam, it's been a pleasure, mate. Been good to be on. I know we jumped on a Tuesday afternoon, quite wicked and wild. But
I know, yeah, it's rock and roll, mate.
The show goes on. Guys, make sure you hit that button. Make sure you keep tuning in. And we shall see you soon.
See you later, mate.